You've got four. Which one's the sweetest?
It's like picking your favourite kids.
Yeah, but everyone's got a favourite kid.
Yes,
My
they
mum
do.
was just mine. Hodgie, quick fire questions for you. 15, because you wore the number 15,
Yep.
Guernsey.
And I was born on the 15th.
Well, there you go. If you weren't going to be an AFL Premiership Norm Smith medalist star, what would have you been?
I always dreamt of playing cricket for Australia.
Oh, same.
I love cricket. Actually, I had two dreams as a kid. One was playing for Richmond.
That worked out.
And one was playing for Australia, and none of them worked out. So I was lucky enough that I went to Hawthorn, and that worked out okay.
First AFL paycheck, I mean, it's different money now than maybe when you first started, but what did you spend with your first AFL paycheck?
You remember the old rivalry?
No,
I'm too old for you. I'm actually pretty embarrassed to say that my first paycheck went towards a gaming console.
No, I like it. You've got Shane Crawford one end, who's 50. You've got Brad Hill, another teammate of yours who's 31. How does that sit?
It does make you feel old to think that
Someone
Crawf's 50. And Hilly, I remember Hilly when he walked in the door, he was a raw little quiet fella, and to think he's 31.
Yeah.
Jeez, time flies. And two of the funnier guys that I've played footy with, those two.
Yeah,
good
who
fellas.
else is in that category?
Brian Lake. Brian Lake was different.
I've not thought of Brian Lake in a while.
Yeah, he's someone who'd talk in the third person a lot,
Really?
but was good value. He actually credits all the premierships to himself.
Oh, does he?
2012, we lost the grand final. We picked up Brian Lake. He played 3 years at Hawthorn, 13, 14, 15. They got rid of him after 15, and we went out in straight sets in 16. So if it wasn't for Brian Lake, we wouldn't have had a three-peat.
Out of those premierships, you just listed a few of them.
Yep.
You've got four. Which one's the sweetest?
It's like picking your favourite
Yeah,
kids.
but everyone's got a favourite kid.
Yes,
my
they
mum
do.
was just mine. Like, I'm my mum's.
There's probably two that stand out. 2008, because no one expected us to win it. Like we were the underdog. We're a young group that were fearless. And everything clicked for us on the day. We played good, selfless team footy, and we beat a giant in Geelong. Geelong were the best team all year, without a shadow of a doubt. But that doesn't matter on grand final day. And the second one, for more of a personal reason, was 2-14. It was my 250th game. I was able to run through the banner with the two boys that we had at the time, Coop and Chase.
True or false, you think about the 2012 grand final defeat to Sydney more than any other AFL grand final you've played in?
False.
False.
And it's more so because people, this time of year, they only talk about the ones you win.
Well, that rivalry between Hawthorn and Geelong is a very...
Can it curse?
There you go, there's another one. Is the Sydney-Hawthorn rivalry maybe a little bit underrated and overshadowed by that Geelong one?
I actually thought that rivalry was bigger than the Geelong one. As a player, I felt that throughout 2012, 13, 14, that was as big a rivalry, in my opinion, because they beat us, but then they went and stole Bud. They stole our best player. So all of a sudden, we're going into a 2014 grand final against the team that had beaten us 2 years ago, against the team that stole the best player in the AFL.
Yeah, arguably of all time.
Yeah, but as soon as you walk off the field, I'm a big one. You shake hands and you move on and go from there.
And you kiss your old teammates on the head like Buddy as well.
But that was weird. I still don't know why I did that.
So in terms of dynasties, you were part of a dynasty. There was also one in Brisbane Lions, 01, 2, 3. Which do you think is the more impressive three-peat? Or do you think
clearly the Hawks one? Clearly. 1, 2 and 3, there was 16 teams back then.
Now, if you could have one player to play alongside you, it doesn't necessarily be someone that you played with, anyone in history that could play with you in a grand final, who would it be?
Well, that's a hard one. I probably would have said Bud, but I had the luxury of playing with and against him.
You can say him if it's going to be him, though.
Going back over the years, Gary Ablett Senior.
Senior? Yeah, he could take some marks.
I probably could take Junior as
could
well.
take
I probably wouldn't be fussy, but...
All right, so what was the best goal you ever scored in an AFL Grand Final, and why is it the one from the boundary in the second quarter against West Coast in 2015?
That's up there. There's probably two that stand out. Gary Rowan kicked one in from fullback against Sydney in the third quarter, I think it was, and I was able to intercept that and put it back through over his head. Or the one against... The one that's probably more memorable is the one against West Coast in the pocket, where I probably should have kicked at the top of the goal square. If I had missed it, probably would have been dragged.
No, but you can be a legend.
Exactly right. It's not about the team. It's about the individual and
Exactly.
and the fact that it went through. And then I turned around and it was right in front of all the Hawthorn supporters. And there's a photo of me sort of giving the fist pump to them, and it probably sort of sits back and is probably the more memorable one.
All right, so rank these AFL Grand Final goals, Hodgie. Your goal against West Coast in 2015, Nick MALCESKI in 2012, Tom Boyd in 2016, Dom Sheed from the boundary in 2018, and Jordan De Goey last year, and you commentated that game as well, so you remember that one pretty well.
I'm going to have to go the Dom Sheed one.
As number one?
Just because you said that hurts.
You're going to put yours down?
I'll put mine down the bottom.
MALCESKI in 2012 and Tom Boyd 2016.
Oh, stuff MALCESKI.
He can go 5,
yeah,
you
that
4.
could be 10.
Tom Boyd 3.
And Tom Boyd was, for the storyline of Western Bulldogs kicking that, to bring it, and I remember you saying that you saw grown men just crying.
Yeah.
Because of, they never thought they were going to see a Western Bulldogs premiership.
Now on to this Saturday. Who's your pick? Are you going to go with your heart with the Lions? And do you feel that with the Lions after only playing there a couple of years? Do you feel that connection to them?
Not so much to. It's sort of a weird one. I feel a connection to the players and the coaches.
Yeah, but not the club.
People always said, "Yeah, is it if Hawthorn and Brisbane played in a grand final, who would you support?" Jumper for Hawthorn, playing 300 games with a club that's had such a rich history and playing in premierships. But then you look at the Lions. Majority of those players I either coached or played with. So I had 2 years of coaching when I finished up there and played with a lot of them. The coaches, I'm still close to a lot of the coaches as well. So
who's your tip then for Saturday?
I've gone against the Lions every week and it's worked. So I'm going to try and go with that theory again and go Sydney.
Sydney. Do you think everyone should win a premiership medal? I'm a no. I'm a no.
I thought you were going to go.
No, absolutely not. Because the hard luck stories make them hard luck stories. Yeah. Without them, it's just a bit of a cool.
Yeah, I'm a big. It's hard because to win a premiership you need a whole group, and I understand that. And as a captain, we relied on. There was stages in 2014 where we had Mitchell, Rioli, Lake, Gibson all out, and we had blokes stand up, and all we asked them to do was just play their role. And that we won 5 games in a row while they were doing that. But I know premiership, it's always the history of our game has been, if you play on grand final day, you get up there, you get a premiership medal.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And that's what I still feel that way. I can understand the arguments for other people, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can see some Charlie Cameron motorbikes this weekend and enjoy Saturday.
Will do.